And we're all
Hello, everybody. Another episode on Beyond the Barbell with your host, Larhana Robinson, and both IFBB figure pros and Olympians. Don't forget it. As always, much for tuning in and supporting us. We truly appreciate it always. Continue to sue directly Beyond the Barbell for your sweatshirts. Those are going quick. What we have left is whatever we have left. So it's first come, first serve. Get them while you can. Direct Instagram page for your orders.
yes. So again, thank you guys so much for the support and getting those orders in. Really appreciate it. They are definitely selling out for sure. We are already missing a good amount of sizes, so please make sure you get your orders in. If you would like one, they are $40 plus shipping. But before we get into the main attraction, we did have the Hurricane Pro over the weekend, so we would like to go through our top 5. All right, let's go. All right, so coming in at 5th place, we had Blanca Siles, who is coached by Shane Hughley. I remember looking at her before her previous show. I believe it might have been her pro debut, and honestly, just really blown away. She has such a beautiful shape, and those legs are just phenomenal.
They are. It's ridiculous. I mean, those are definitely top 5 every show. Her body matches those legs. She's going to be dangerous, extremely dangerous. Now it's the maturity on top to match the maturity at the bottom. And
yes.
Density, but she's coming.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I think this is amazing pro debut season for her, and I definitely see her very well in the next seasons to come. All right, moving into 4th place. All right, in 4th place, we have Miss Martina Yabakova, the Canadian Hurricane, as we call her. You know, I've watched her this season, and she has definitely progressed with each show. I think this is probably her best look so far this season. Conditioning was so much better compared to, I want to say, I think the first time I saw her this season might have been Tampa. I'm not quite sure. But again, she's been really consistent with getting tighter and harder throughout these last few shows. So I think 4th.
She really impressed me at I was like killing my chest. I forgot. We've been covering so many shows, but the one that I went to blew me away, you know, because she was a threat the second that she came on the scene whenever I met her. And then she took a break and came back, and now this is the Martina that I remember. So I'm going to bring to the table, you know, as she continues her journey, because now, like you said, she is the Canadian from 2019.
Yes, absolutely. So this was great to see. Really good to see. I'm glad to see that she's gotten back to the Martina that I remember. You know,
exactly.
The first time I think took the stage with her was at Tampa Pro 2019. So this was definitely reminiscent of that. Moving into top 3. All right, we have Mayra Hernandez, and she's the one that I've been looking at for a while. I love
me too.
She has beautiful density. I wish that we could have put her presentation on. She actually flows very nicely on stage as well. I love how dense her back is. I think I would have liked to see a little bit more conditioning through the hamstrings and the glute area, but that back looks insane. We just need the lower exterior chain to match up with that as well.
Right. I'm actually surprised that her lower half is not as conditioned, because she was known for conditioning. You know, it was her back that was lacking, but now she brought up her back and your upper and your lower to just match, you know, to really respond to the diet of your coach. Protocols are. But I am excited to see her next, because I'm hoping she does November 5th. I think that's going to be her best bet, because her back is tremendously, especially the density. It was not like this. She did that. Her and her coach, she's one that impressed me a lot.
Absolutely. I completely agree. All right. Moving in the top 2. Okay. Queen, Miss Autumn Cleveland, who is also coached by Shane Hughley. Again, we've talked about it before. Autumn is extremely consistent. She is balanced from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I do seen her a little bit tighter this season, but then again, also let's keep in mind that she's done quite a few shows this season, so I give her a lot of credit, and still placing top 2.
Exactly. Deservingly too at that. It's like she's strong, her body's not giving out. She's not allowing her body to give out, because she's like, I want this. I'm gonna get it too. You know, she's just exploring with different poses, because even in her back pose right here, it's a little bit different. For her, it's really just when her time is coming. Her time is coming.
Absolutely, I completely agree. All right. And going into our top 1, our champion of the Hurricane Pro. All right. We have Maggie Watson, who is coached by the pros. Um, I've been following Maggie for quite some time now. I've always been blown away by her structure. It's absolutely beautiful. She's got these wide lats, this beautiful V taper. Um, I would like to see maybe a little bit more conditioning. But again, her shape is just what really draws me in. And I mean, just overall, she's just beautiful in general.
I love her. I like the suit. I like the overall look.
Yes.
Her right where they need to be. The back pose, I feel like she can open up a little bit more on her back, you know, just smaller than it already is. I feel like she's a top 10 Olympian for sure. Top
Absolutely
6, you know, she looks really, really good. And she has a really good stage.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful stage presence. I think with the amount of time that we have left going into the Olympia, I think she's really going to bring it. I mean, you can only get tighter at this point, because I want to say big second show this season, so I definitely see.
No, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Okay. But yes,
I care. A top 10 Olympian for sure, if not higher. I'm just lowballing it right now, but I'm surprised that she won.
Yeah, not surprised at all. Okay, so let's go like this. So before we get into the main attraction, let's take a look at IFBB Figure Pro Danielle Rose.
Yeah, drum roll, the crowd's going crazy.
In here somewhere. Hold on.
Y'all know I'm a mom, so y'all get me and my kids.
There's
our girl.
Gorgeous this girl looks. Look at the conditioning that she has. Her shape is absolutely beautiful. I've actually watched her for a while and seen her progress each and every year. And her posing presentation has also gotten better as well. Like, I think she had a great season. I'm really eager to talk her and see if she plans on doing anything else this season.
Yeah, I love her shape, her conditioning, her overall everything, the overall presentation. You know, I work well, but I'm just amazed at how she can get so conditioned and full and dry. You know, and did a lot this year, and just like Autumn, each show they just kept getting better and better and better. Their body never. So yeah, let's get that girl on here.
Alrighty, here we go.
To her.
Hey guys!
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you girls?
Pretty good, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving us some of your time. Really appreciate it.
Of course. I love what you guys are doing for the figure community. So very grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're a huge, so we had to make sure we got you on with the amount of times that you compete. We needed to talk to you.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive in and really go into your journey and talk about this season, of course, we want to know why figure and what keeps you in the figure division.
Yeah. So I started off like a lot of us did with bikini.
Okay.
I started off back in 2014. I did a few a few bikini shows then, and I did well. You know, brought the conditioning, but then I'd say probably my third bikini show, one of the judges, my feedback was, your shoulders are way too big for bikini. Why don't you do figure? So I was hesitant of it because I like the posing and the glamour with bikini. But for me to do bikini, it was literally chicken, asparagus. I didn't work out. It was mostly cardio, light lifting. So I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing to get that look.
Gotcha.
And then I switched to figure and I did my first figure show. And once I kind of came to terms with the posing, and it's so funny to look back now because my view is completely different. But at that point, once I got comfortable with the posing and not doing the glam of bikini, which I had fought at that point, there was no turning back, you know, and then just the ability to train super hard and build the muscle that my body wanted to build and eat the food and really, really get to that level. It was so exciting for me. I couldn't stop.
Right.
I did my first show and I was
right. Right. That's how it usually goes because we already know why figure's the shit. We just let everybody else's opinion and journey. But you said that whenever you started in cardio, so that meant they wanted you to downsize to lose muscle. So what were you doing before bodybuilding? What journey? Like what sports did you play? Did you play any sports? Like how did you even get into it before you even found bikini?
Yeah. So I was a cheerleader all through middle school, all through high school, a cheerleader. I did gymnastics. And then I got really into CrossFit. I mean, I've always worked out and I was always active, but then I really got into CrossFit. And I was doing that for a few years and I loved it. I loved heavy lifting. I loved everything that CrossFit brought, except for the physique. So I was strong as hell. I could lift a house, but I was a square box. And then the truth is, you know, one of my best friends, Stacy Bouguet, who I'm forever grateful for, she came to me and, you know, I did some boxing classes, which I think I told you, Lana. I did kickbox and box. And she had done a bikini show and she came to me and she said, let's do one together. And so yeah, sure. I was like, okay, let's do it. I had no idea what I was getting myself into at all. At all. And, you know, I'm an eater and, you know, would drink and all that world. And when I said, okay, let's do it. And I went in and I sat with her. She was a coach at that time. She was a trainer. And I sat with her and she's like, all right, let's talk about it. And she laid it out for me and gave me the diet plan and the no alcohol and the whole thing. And I was like, okay. And then I remember, again, I'm going back to 2014.
Yeah.
I remember at that point, I said, okay, this is before Instagram really was a big deal. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to post it on Facebook that I'm doing my first show. And once I announce it to the world, there will not be any turning back.
Right.
So I did that and I put it on Facebook, and then I was stuck. And so, you know, we did it and I fell in love with it. I remember so precisely that the first month was difficult because everything changed, you know, everything, your social life, as we all know, your social life. I'm married. I'm with my husband now for 30 years.
Wow.
I know, but I'm only 25, so.
We know.
Give or take.
You're about to turn 25 again this year.
So, and you know, my husband and I had met in college, so we had the relationship that we had cultivated, which was crazy. You know, I was the girl on stage dancing and doing all that.
Right.
And then, you know, and I have a son who's 15, so it changed everything. But my husband was on board right away, and my son was on board, and you know, some friendships shifted and some friendships changed because I wasn't the same crazy Danielle going out for drinks and happy hour. And so readjusted some things, but I fell in love with it. I did, like I said, I did my first show and I was like, this is what I meant to do. It just got in my blood. I'm super competitive with everything in my life, everything. I'm in sales.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in sales, so I'm driven by quotas and numbers and who's on top and who's winning. And so between that and the glam and being on stage and the discipline, you know, I would wake up every day and say, okay, I'm going to do this today. And what people don't understand is that they look at us and they think it's easy. But you wake up in the morning and, like I said, I'm an eater. I like to enjoy myself. And so you'd wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to do this today. And then I get to bed at night and say,
too.
I did this today. And that's what would drive me for the next day and the next day, you know?
Right. Bodybuilding are two totally different extremes.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, it's, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we've talked about it as far as the whole motivation goes. And it's like, okay, yeah, we're motivated, but motivation isn't an everyday thing. Like once it's gone, that's when the discipline does have to kick in. And Hannah, you already know what I've been doing these past, like, what, two weeks now, which has kind of helped kind of kick me in gear, which everyone knows. Cardio, absolutely can't stand it. But obviously it has to get done. It has to get done fasted. And what I've been doing is the lives in the morning at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And it's honestly, I know it helps maybe some other people that I show up these lives all the time, but in all actuality, it's really helping me because it's holding me accountable because I have to show up.
Right.
Exactly.
Mind, that's gonna keep you going every.
And you switched from two totally different extremes. So it's like CrossFit. You go there and you have the workout as many times as you can, as fast as you can. But you could eat like shit. You could drink. You could do whatever. And then you have a totally different extreme, which is bodybuilding, which is you better not touch the food. Go do workout 8 million times a day, burn this many calories, like you're able to do that. How long have you, because you said you started in 2014, extremely young, you know, so there's people out here that have no clue that you could also if you wanted to. So how long have you been competing, you know, and how long did it take you to get, like you said, motivation is not always there. Some people start with momentum. Whenever you, especially bodybuilding, you'll see results quick. And once you see the results is what it's like that keeps. How long have you been doing this? And, you know, how long did it take you to get your pro card? And since down, up and down, how do you stay so, into it? You know
How
what
do
I
I
mean?
stay so motivated in such a chaotic sport?
Yes.
Like, for real. Like, that's the question, for real. For real.
I know. We've had these conversations before. How many times can you keep getting slapped in the face? You're like, all right. So I started in 2014, like I said. I turned pro in 2018. So it took me 4 years. It took me 9 national shows to turn pro. So 9.
See that? You hear
Wow.
Yeah.
9.
Well,
It's
lucky
not.
number is 9. 9.
9. So that's why when I see girls or I hear girls that are getting frustrated about whatever it is, not turning pro, or even myself right now, not getting to the Olympia stage. Like, what? Just keep doing the work. It'll happen. So yeah, I did 9 national shows and I just kept getting constant feedback from Sandy. Sandy really helped guide me through it all, and she really was amazing. Feedback. There was a time where she had suggested that maybe I switch to physique, because again of my conditioning and how hard I get and how shredded I get, and that wasn't an option for me.
Yeah.
I knew figure was for me, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's where I was gonna I'll do whatever it takes to be the right figure competitor.
Right.
So I went through a couple coaches. And then I turned pro, and then once I turned pro, I've been with Tristan, my coach now, who I've been with since day one. And we just are amazing together, and he knows my body. And again, we know for me, it's a fine line between being too hard, too shredded, too full, soft.
Right.
But, back to your question, Laharna, I guess for me, and I can be brutally honest for you guys and for whoever else is listening, of course you want to beat yourself on stage. And every time I get on stage, I want to be better than I was the last time.
Right.
But the facts are, I want to beat you too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super competitive.
Yeah.
I can't lie about it. I want to win.
Yes.
And I want to always place better, and I want to always beat you if you beat me before. That's just how I'm wired. And that's what keeps me going. I guess, again, because I'm competitive and I truly do believe in myself. I know my coach believes in me, and I know other top athletes such as yourselves believe in me. The judges, I really get good feedback, and that's really what keeps me going. I believe that I can get there, whatever that there is. So if it was turning pro or if it's getting to the Olympia, I believe that I can get there. And I know that I'm not delusional. I know that there will be the time that either myself or my coach will say, okay, let's either switch to masters, or let's talk about what your goals are.
Right.
But I know that time isn't now. So that's why I'm just fired up.
As you should be. And I think great mentality.
Thank you.
This sport is like one of the only sports that you're spot. That's why I like it, because you can literally be Miss Olympia one year and the next year, like, seriously, you can always beat yourself, and you can always beat the person next to you. What you said, like, because you know, and because you believe in yourself, because you know what you're capable of. There's millions of people that don't believe in their coach, and they will take bits and pieces, cherry pick the coach's plan, and they ask pros like us, oh, what are you doing? Are you doing this? Instead of like you're consistent. You already know what works for your body. Your coach already literally fine tuning. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think that's amazing that you're actually able to still go hard as heck and still have this fire in you to keep going, because you know that you are an Olympian, which is exactly what you're saying, and exactly what you're showing, not the figure competitors out there that are driving to get to the Olympia or driving to get to their pro. Look, I don't care if it takes me 9 national shows or 100 national shows. I'm getting my pro card. And
right. Yeah. Thank you.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're very, very welcome.
So question. So as far as your off seasons or improvement seasons, or even your prep season, how can I say it? Is there anything that you'd say as far as adversity that you go through, anything difficult that you might go through during your off seasons or your actual contest preps?
So, probably my coach and anybody at my gym would tell you that they really don't know anybody like me during prep, because I'm not miserable. I'm happy. I enjoy it every day. If it's an hour of cardio or if it's 30 minutes of cardio, I don't care. It's all because I love it so much. And I think that a lot of competitors get lost in the fact that this is a choice that we made. Nobody has a gun to our head making us do this. So if you're choosing to do it, why are you miserable? If you're miserable, then stop. Right. I mean, and I've been through a lot of difficult things in my life, and to be a little hungry or to want sugar and you can't have it is nothing to me in the grand scheme of what I'm looking to accomplish. So during prep, I'm truly never, it's never tough for me. I just get more and more driven the closer I get to the show. I will say that I've never taken an off season, surprisingly enough. But my coach, who is also my best friend and a family to me, made it non-negotiable and laid the law to me and said,
today.
He said, "You're my best friend and I love you, but this is how it's going to go. Either you're going to take an off season or you can find another coach, because, for every reason, right? For health purposes, for the fact that, like Tristan said to me, Danielle, we go to these shows and you're usually in the top 5. You look great, but we're going to we get the same feedback, which we need to make those changes. Otherwise we're showing up and we're showing up against a lineup that we're hoping instead of rolling up, you're at your best and we don't need to change points."
Right.
It was very hard for me to accept that because, I don't feel like I've ever gotten on stage really looking like shit, but it needs to be more than that. And I realize that, and so I could keep showing up conditioned and looking good, but to break through to where I want to break through, I know that I had to accept this and take the off season and, take 6-8 months, whatever we're going to do to, just build some more muscle, my back, my quads, and then show up next season changed, not just the condition Danielle.
Right.
So,
that's awesome.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking some time. I mean, we all do.
I know.
Doing it.
Oh, the shortest improvement season I've had was, unfortunately, it was 6 weeks from last year's Olympia going into this year's Arnold. And, I think that was a huge lesson for me. Because psychologically, because I had dieted so hard to get ready for, the last Olympia and then trying to enjoy life and maybe overdo it.
Right.
Trying to get ready for that and only having that 12-week span and then only having that 6-week, eat everything I could possibly eat,
Right.
This doesn't.
I think having that improvement season, having those months to improve on what you need to improve is one, yes, it's great, psychologically, right? but at the same time, you're making the necessary changes that you do need to make. And today, we want to be at the Olympia. We want to win shows. So that's what we have to do to win these shows, is to make sure that we come back improved. So we always got to take that time off. And that was definitely a huge.
So literally, actually, Tristan, for being a coach that actually cares about your health and making you take this off. Selfish coaches out here that will just tell you to keep going and that don't care about your health and just have it to put on there. But it is a huge, hard pill to swallow, because we here that do not understand bodybuilding. When you are a bodybuilder and you're a top bodybuilder, you know, when you're gonna be at the top in this sport, it just is the reality of it. You can't. But when you're not able to bodybuild, you can still be a part of bodybuilding. So I've had to swallow that hard pill as well, and I won't be competing until next season. So I'm right there with full 100% connected to the sport, because I'm doing this. You know, I'm going to be competing. I'm going to be there cheering for every single figure sister that I have on that stage, supporting as much as I love the sport, and I'm also a fan of the sport, and I know you are too as well. So I'm proud of you, taking the off season and getting what you need to get done, because he's right. It's better to show up great and say, hey, maybe next time do this. Yeah. No, go in there, come in there undeniable. Then you won't even have to care about who's on that list.
Yeah. You know, I think the hard part for me, which again, Tristan, really, I mean, this was a few weeks of emotional, tough conversations between he and I. You know, my plan was to do San Antonio and to keep going, to do Hurricane, to do November 5th, to keep going. You know, the hard part is obviously seeing your name up there on the list of points for the Olympia, and like a drug, right? You know, let me just do one more, let me do one more. And looking at it, and psychotic, probably like the rest of us, you know, writing it down, seeing the point system, what would get me to it's the hardest part for me as a competitive athlete was saying, okay, there's 5 shows left this season or 4 shows left this season, and I will not win any of them, and I will not take top 2 in any of them. And that was the hardest part, because that's in essence what you're saying to yourself, right? So, and that's the antithesis of who I am in everything in life, you know? So it was, again, through good conversation with Tristan, that it's not saying that. It wasn't saying, okay, I'm not going to win any of these shows, or I'm not going to place top 2 in any of these shows. It was saying to yourself, okay, let me walk away right now from where I'm at, and you are in the top point system. So let's just come back next year and then be like, okay, you know, she's done her own. And I have to say, and I have to give her mad props. And I have to say, we're really not even that good of friends. We've just started interacting. And I said this to Tristan, Autumn is a huge, huge reason into why it was okay for me to take my off season. Because when I saw her at Tampa Pro, which was my worst showing of the season probably, which Tristan did not want me to do Tampa. He said we should be done. However, my family could be there. I live in Florida. I wanted to do it. But when I saw Autumn there, you know, Autumn and I did Hurricane Pro last season together. And, you know, we were both in the top. And that was her last show before Tampa, I believe. And when I saw her roll up in Tampa, and I've watched her through the years too, and when I saw her on the Tampa Pro stage, and I was like, and I don't fangirl much, okay? But I was just like, wow, you know, she's a different physique than she had last season. And again, psychotically, like we all do, pulled up her pictures. You know, she has comparison shots from last season to this season. And I saw just how remarkable her body changed from taking that time off. That I was like, you know, it makes sense. And it's not like all of you and anybody else who I watch doesn't change from an off season, but I felt like she really hit close to home because
Right.
she's not the biggest girl on stage, right? She's not
I would
huge.
say
She doesn't
that.
have huge quads, a huge back, but the
Yeah.
changes that she made were just remarkable.
Right.
And
Right.
hence,
And you're
look
being,
at her. You know?
that just makes you a realist. You're logically looking at what's happening in our sport to somebody who has a similar physique as you. Me and Z don't have a problem putting on muscle. We have muscle,
Right.
you know, so we wouldn't train our backs as much as you would, so that you could bring your back up. So everybody's smart and very, very logical of you to do this because, like you said, it opens that door for you to really going on in the sport. How can I be on top in this sport? You know, you're literally happening, and that's what a lot of people don't do. They want to say, "Man, I got cheated. I didn't win," or whatever. No, go look at the winners. Go look at their physique. Put your physique next. Say some of those comments. You know, because a lot of people will. They're the circle that they're in their circle, and it's like those people are not even bodybuilders. Go around somebody, make those kind of statements, those kind of judgments. But I'm glad you're actually being a realist, you know, in your reality of, you know, bodybuilding, because we're always evolving. This sport is always evolving. 2014 to where we are now, it's figure is completely different.
Completely
different. Good that you're doing that. It's good that you're doing that though, because it's going to help for the long run.
Yeah. And you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say, I mean, guys, I'm turning 47 next week. So
wow. Bro, you can not tell. Get her to say her age on here so that y'all can know.
Listen, it is what it is, right?
Do not look 47. Not 47. Like, y'all, come on, for real. I gotta stand up.
I get it from my mama. I have to give my mom all the props in the world for that. But you know, for me, so I turned pro in 2018. And then a month later, I went and did Tampa Pro. I did Masters and I did Open. In Masters, I took, I think, third. In Open, I took 20th or something.
I
think
I met you there.
I think I did. We did too.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was after that show, literally, I have not stepped on a master. I haven't competed in master since then. It was at that show that I said to myself, I'm not doing masters anymore because until it's time.
Right.
But I have a goal, and my goal is to get to the Olympia stage. And I saw Tampa Pro that year, which I've discussed with Sandy in the past too. As you saw with Hurricane, Masters is first and Open is second.
Right.
And so your energy, your presentation, everything is at Masters, which is great. I'm not minimizing it. But you have Masters girls that have goals for the Olympia too. And then you come on stage for Open and you walk and wave. And you know, I wanted to do my routine for Open. I wanted to be compete compared to that.
Right.
And you know, I did discuss with Sandy that I think at these shows, they should do Open before Masters because you have a lot of Masters girls that's their goal, you know, is the Olympia. And so Open should be first. Let us do our routine, compete in that if we choose to, and then do Masters afterwards. You know, either way, I'm not making a judgment call because what works for some people works for some people. But for my goals, I just realized that until my coach looks at me and says, honey, let's hang it up and let's do Masters, which he promised me he would. You know, until that time comes, I want all my energy and all of everything I put into Open.
Right.
But I'd be lying to say that I don't feel like I have a clock ticking over my head, you know, which makes me want it even more sooner because I don't know when my body's going to change, your skin, whatever happens as you get older.
Right. I mean, you know, I completely get your feeling on Masters. I think that's what my thoughts were initially with masters. But I think as time has gone on and me really studying the sport, man, you really can't count those women out, man.
Absolutely not. I agree. But
Look
then
at
they
you.
should also be invited to the Olympia.
Yes,
not a Masters Olympia. Masters should go to the Olympia in December. Exactly. I mean, listen, I'm not counting out any Masters competitors because they look amazing. I'm a Masters competitor. I just realized, like I said, the energy to do 2 classes or 4, because I would do over 4, to do that. It was too much out of my body to then bring my best for open, which is the only way to get to the Olympia.
Very true.
And I
think so if they switched it, would you do Masters? If they switched it to where open went in front and then you just waved for Masters, would you do Masters?
Possibly. And again, I don't know if it's just my mindset that I'm so, and it could be to a fault, guys. And I'm not saying it's not, because believe me, I have people that are like, Danielle, just enjoy the sport, do the sport. Don't make your main focus be to get to the Olympia.
Right.
But that's what I'm that's what it is. So I don't know, Lorena, I don't know if right now, because I still feel like I can compete in the open market and be competitive in it. I don't know if I would, and it's not because of the stigma of Masters or not. I mean, I'm a proud 47-year-old competitor. It's just it's just what it does, presenting,
have a goal, and you just want to get there in open. I understand completely. It's like you want to get there, everybody, not just beating the Masters girls, and I get that 1,000,000%. You want to show the world the editor, but that you're actual open figure pro as well, and you are, and you've proved that top 5 almost every single time you compete. I, on the other hand, just would like to see Masters figure competitor, because I know you are one. Why not collect checks?
Right.
Because this sport is expensive. It's expensive, and those checks can help you with the open kit. And whether you get
I don't have one sponsor. I don't have anybody that pays for anything for me at all, so it's and I don't want to come across wrong at all that I'm against Masters.
You're not.
I'm better than that, because I don't. Listen, there's Masters girls that have beat me, and so I'm not minimizing the how amazing Masters competitors are at all. It's just, like I said, for me and my mindset right now, I just want to get up there once and do that. But that's not to say that next season I might not jump on stage and do both, just to see.
Right.
Well, I'm proud of you regardless, and we enjoyed having you on here and telling us all about the history of Danielle Rose. But before we let you go, the viewers with some words of wisdom. You've already said a lot, but what is something you would leave them if they're giving up, or they're demotivated, or they don't even know if bodybuilding is for them in this moment right now?
I would say that, first of all, don't ever give up on anything that is something that you love or that you have a vision for, that you want to do. Don't ever give up on it. Go for it. Put everything you have into achieving that. Because again, I can't imagine not going for something that you really want. But I would say for sure, and I say this to a lot of the girls starting off that I train with, is you have to do the sport because you love it. Period. The sport. You can't do it because you want to be famous. You can't do it because you want to be famous. You can't do it because you want to make money. You have to do the sport because you love it, because it doesn't always go the way you want it to on stage, right? And I get off the stage many times and I'm not happy with how it went. But I love the sport so much that that's not going to stop me from continuing to do it. So, I think that when people jump into it because they want to look good, there's looking good is just a product of the sport we do.
Right.
Just like a runner runs fast or a swimmer swims fast. A bodybuilder looks good. But do you like the sport that got you to look good?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the number one thing.
I like
So awesome. Thank you so much, seriously,
well,
for coming on.
Will you be at the Olympia this year?
I don't think I will be there. I regret to say that, but I don't think I will be there. I'm actually going to Romania in a few weeks to help Tim Gardner Productions put on that show there.
Okay.
So I'll be there. Awesome. And then, I know I prepare to travel around a lot probably next season. So for me, again, I try to find the balance with my son and my husband. And sometimes you have to put aside some things that you want in preparing for the future. So, but I will be overly stalking it. It will be a Olympia watching party at my house for the weekend. So it will be on and I will be watching for certain.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We loved having you. Get to see you next season with these improvements and bringing that undeniable physique. And again, tuning in, send those direct messages to Beyond the Barbell on Instagram for your crew net. And as always, thank you so much. We'll be tuning in, and until next time.
Love you guys. Thank you for everything.
Love you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Nicole.
Later.
Peace.